All right, we were in media days last week down in Hoover for the week. I know that was one of your favorites. You were writing for BayouBengalsInsider.com.
Did you meet Tiger Jake?
I don't believe I met Tiger Jake.
The little dog with the that's painted orange and navy.
I remember that, but
his old man.
I didn't meet the loser with the ring on his head.
His handler.
Either.
I walked up to Tiger Jake's handler and I was like, "Oh man, what's the dog's name?" Dude kind of grimaces, doesn't even talk to me. Reaches in his breast pocket and just pulls out a Tiger Jake business card and hands it to me without saying a word. Without saying a word.
How's that where you end up?
Like he was a celebrity or something. Like I was like begging at the feet of like a famous person. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Born and raised in Opelika.
I've stayed in the Knights Inn in Opelika and fairly certain some serious crimes have been committed in the room that I stayed in. It was not a 5-star resort.
They rent it by the hour?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Not Rabelais approved.
Good answer.
It was
Scott Rabelais, a hotel snob.
And then Cam Newton ran for a lot of yards.
All right, but a lot of people are talking about LSU down there and leaving that event. There's high expectation around LSU. I told everybody that the expectation from LSU is because of the quarterback. We've talked about LSU. I've done this now for 9 off seasons on the radio, talking about LSU going into a year, and I've always felt confident that they've had defensive backs, they've had linebackers in selective years, they've had defensive tackles, wide receivers, running backs, offensive linemen, but they haven't had that quarterback that you could bite into and feel like you had confidence in that position. It seems like Burrow provides that.
I did Hester Show solo 2 weeks ago. I was kind of going through like segments to run through. It's a little bit different solo. You got to like talk for 15 minutes straight a few times. And so I was like, well, this is something. So I ran through and did some ran through the numbers, and I went, I haven't felt this good about LSU at quarterback since entering the 06 season when Jamarcus was coming back for his junior year. Like, that's how long it's been since I felt this good about LSU at quarterback. And sure, like Flynn had a great year, but did you really know? And then sure, Mettenberger had a great year, but he wasn't good the year before. Like, this is as good as I've felt about it in a long time. And like, you get it. Y'all get this question all summer, like from people that you come across. I got it literally yesterday twice. What about LSU's football team this year? And my answer the last 3 years has been like,
yeah, right.
I don't
wait and see.
No, it's been like, I don't think they're that great. I mean, they've got some players, but I don't think that they can beat Alabama. And I just this year I'm like, they're gonna be pretty good. Like, this is a pretty good team, and so that makes this more fun. It makes the town more fun. It makes this radio talk more fun, and if they are good, it makes football season a lot more fun. So I feel pretty good about it. Like, I still don't know that we're going to go to Tuscaloosa and win, but I think the team's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing that I just tell people is I think it's New Year 6 or bust. Like, if you have a good enough team this year where if you are not in one of those bowl games at the end of the year, you have fallen short of what you should have.
Complete opposite of expectation from last season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and they handled the underdog role so well, but there is a difference. Like, you see a lot of people that handle being underdogs better than being favorites. And so now the question for LSU and this coaching staff is like, because that underdog message is easy to play to a locker room. I guess it's like, can you keep these guys focused and committed to the work that it takes and kind of not believing that they've already arrived?
Yeah, and like media days from the players and coaches' perspective is pretty boring. They've been coached what to say, and the personality's kind of gone from the league now, and so there's not a ton to draw from those guys. But it's pretty obvious the message that's being preached in there is block out the noise again, because they all keep saying it, and they're up front with saying, hey, this is a different block out the noise from last year. Last year, everybody said we sucked, and we didn't really care about that. This year, everybody says we're good. So they're aware of what they may have, and they're aware of what people think on the outside. Now, whether or not they rise to that occasion, this remains to be seen, but at least it's pretty obvious that that's what's being preached over there.
There's a lot of security and confidence in a lot of positions and personnel over there. What questions are you looking to get answered early in camp?
Well, I don't know if the answer is going to come early in camp. It may come in Austin, but the offensive line just worries me. I just usually when you have a bunch of starters back and you take your preseason magazine out and you look and they got the bold names, you're going, okay, well, you got these guys are back, but this is a group that underperformed last year that's back. Now they're going to tailor this entire thing to help them. They're going to help them out with numbers by spreading things out. They're going to help them out with timing and getting the ball out quickly. They're going to run some zone stuff, but they did not play very well last year. You can obviously speak to that much better than I can, but if that group performs, this team is going to be really good.
Yeah. I mean, the great hope for the O-line is that even if they're not the best at another year, you just get better. But I do think the new offense is going to be their greatest ally if the quarterbacks can execute it to the level that they're supposed to. One thing that I've been waffling back and forth on, Hunt, I think I've almost been a little dismissive of it to this point, but I was talking to someone yesterday, and I sat down and thought about it and changed my mind a bit, is like how much of a problem is trying to replace Devin White?
Well, you're not going to have this is the thing. It's like I talk about this with baseball players all the time. They're always like, "Oh, next man up," and that's the same thing with football guys. Next man up, and okay, there is a next man, but sometimes he's not that good. He's not as good.
Sure.
And so I think that it's realistic to think that LSU takes a bit of a step back in performance there. But if your defensive front's a year older and a year better, and you've got a lot of good guys that you're going to plug in the box from the secondary, I think they've got enough good linebackers. How much of a progression does Micah Baskerville take forward as he get on the field? It maybe worries me a little bit that they're saying, well, Divinity, who was a great pass rusher at the end of last year, we're going to put him in the middle a little bit this year.
They love him in the middle. It's not even like they're experimenting. They seem like fully committed.
Okay, so does that mean that he's just that good there and they found that, or they don't have anybody else to play there, so he's got to go play there?
Yeah.
And with Chase on the outside, they think that they've got that part covered. I don't know. And this is kind of running off of my own here, but when you were saying that about, I haven't thought about this, and you're talking about replacing, my head immediately went to Cole Tracy.
Yeah, Cade Yorks, who else I have written down on my list.
Those
here.
are points.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that thought last year in the Mississippi State game and in the Georgia game, because they were so confident in Tracy, they tailored their red zone play calling to that. They're like, well, we already got 3 points, and our defense is good. Like, let's just. And hopefully Cade York is that good. And we'll see how they tailor things in the red zone based on what they feel about their kicker. But those are points that were just about automatic last year, and now you've got a true freshman. I'm just glad that his first kicks are going to come in front of 72,000 against Georgia Southern before he's got to go play in front of 90 on national television against Texas.
I mean, that's a hell of a game, too, if it comes down to Cade York making a game-winning kick. The early evidence has been good from what I've heard about Cade York, but the thing about kicking is just so mental, man. There's such a big difference between doing it in practice.
I distinctly remember on Hester's show last year, we had Coach McMahon on in the summer, and they had Connor Colt back, and they had this grad transfer in from deep whatever that Tracy was, and so I phrased a question. I was like, so you got some competition at kicker. And he kind of cut me off, and he goes, Cole Tracy's the kicker. And this year we had him on and asked him about, and he goes, Cade York is the kicker.
Okay.
So
like that.
I don't mean to say he's going to be a Groza finalist that probably should win the award, but I'm just telling you that it appears that he's come on and there doesn't appear to be a competition.
Anonymous user points it out in the huddle, and it's a good observation. For the first time in 4 years, LSU has the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row. Should help the offensive line out.
Kind of.
Yeah.
That's good. Kind of.
That's a good take. Have a good weekend. Safe travels out of New Orleans.
All right, guys.
That's a good take.
All right,
that's good. Close that hour one next.
Off the bench with Culotta and T-Bob.